Exactly the way I wanted to start my day. I wanted to start my day only on TexAgs.com because of some weird situation back at the mothership. Welcome into the program. We are brought to you by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I am David Nuño. And guys, time to go on the road. It is time to go smash a team for Texas A&M from the very beginning of a game. No time to wait midway through the second or third quarter to get it going. It is still a work in progress, but Jimbo's created a championship culture, and we're going to get into that today. It's time for a Texas Aggie Rocky Mountain High because I've seen it rain and fire in the sky, OB. We start the go hour with my buddy Olin Buchanan, our Heisman Trophy voter. You liked how I worked in a song from the 70s?
John Denver.
Yep.
Henry John Dusendorf from Fort Worth, Texas.
What are the chances that I actually had to Google that line just to make sure I got it right?
Probably 100%.
Yeah, I Googled it. I Googled it. I had to Google it because I know the song, but I just don't know like the subliminal or the little messages and the way to get the lyrics going. So I had to work it in the way I wanted to.
I once had the 45. You know what that is?
The former president?
No, the 45. You know?
What is that?
It's the records, the individual.
Oh, the
records.
40. Yeah. Of course.
I once had the Rocky Mountain High 45.
Okay. I still think vinyl is the way to go, but I don't own a record player. Hey, road trip alert. We're going to leave this afternoon, heading out there. I'm excited about going with you.
Yeah, it's fun. Road trips are always fun.
So,
if the Aggies win, they're even more fun.
Yes.
But always make sure I wear a TexAgs shirt because we run into Aggies, and a lot of times I notice people are kind of looking and they're wondering sometimes,
right?
Because a lot of Aggies are on the plane.
Sure.
So I always then wear a TexAgs shirt. So then if somebody wants to come talk about the game,
you can do it.
They feel more comfortable about approaching you.
I will give you this: you are the most accommodating / personable person I know in media. You are always willing to go say hello, talk. I'm not saying that I'm not or Billy's not. I'm just saying you go above and beyond. You make eye contact, you go in, you engage, and I know that our listeners, viewers love it.
Well, that's because, as we know, without them, we don't have jobs. So I've been out of work for 3 months, and I never want to be that way again. So I understand that these people, first of all, they have the same interests we do.
Yep.
You sit at a bar with somebody, you want to sit there and talk about the Aggies, right? So, but I see these people as the people that are paying our salaries indirectly.
So people always ask me like, hey man, when you go on the road, you get to have fun. Do you get to do this? You get to do that? I bet you're partying. And this will be my first real trip with TexAgs. I went to SEC Media Days, but two things about that. We work pretty much the entire time we're there. I assume we do. I mean, there's a lot of working, but in TV world, I'm sure it was the same way when you were in print. We would arrive and have to do some kind of video immediately within the first hour of getting there. We're on every newscast. There's like no time. So people, you guys went to the Orange Bowl. You got to go to Miami. I have a lot of family in Miami. Had I gone in my TV days and I went for the All-Star game back in 2017, Major League Baseball All-Star game, I saw no one because I worked wire to wire. It's just not a lot of fun. I am looking forward to having a little downtime until game time.
Yeah, I'll say this. The last time I was in Colorado for an Aggies game, it was like 2005. The night before the game, Robert Sessler and I went up into Black Hawk, which is the gambling area, and I was so hot that night. At one point I said, Cease, the next time I lose a hand, we'll leave. And we were there another hour.
Another hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
The bad news of that, at that time, it's no longer the case, but at that time, Colorado state law was you could not place a bet more than $5.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I guess they were trying to make sure people weren't losing all their money. But so I didn't come out, even though I didn't lose for an hour. It's not like I, broke the bank.
Yeah.
Did you and Cessna show up in matching Hawaiian shirts?
No, we did not. I've never been. I've never really kind of followed Cease's fashion trend. But he
Do you have Hawaiian shirts?
Not like Cease.
Cease's fashion trends haven't changed since Magnum P.I. aired for the first time.
Are you even old enough to know about Magnum P.I.?
Yeah.
Tom Selleck?
I mean, I know who he is. I wasn't there.
Did you watch it?
I've seen episodes.
Well, the point with all that is there are things to do, and sometimes, you take advantage of those opportunities.
So I don't think you said it on air, but I think you mentioned one of the last times you went to Denver, you had a bison burger.
Yes.
Okay. I love bison burger. I didn't realize if you got bison that wasn't a burger, like a bison
steak,
sirloin, whatever, right? I didn't realize how gamey it tasted. So I went to Denver for Texans and Broncos years back, and it was horrendous experience for me. But a bison burger, I'm all in on that.
Yeah, the bison burger didn't taste a whole lot different to me.
No. So as we get ready for this game, I think there's a feeling, just do it. No more pretend.
Yeah.
Just go do it. Billy, I was listening part of the Liucci Hour when I was coming in this morning, and he thinks this game is going to be tighter than I think. He not that it's going to be tight, but he thinks it's going to be, one of those fourth quarter they pull away kind of games, I believe is how he expressed it. I think the Aggies have the talent and the potential to put this game away early. Colorado struggles to score early. At least last week, I think their first 4 possessions they punted. A&M needs to finish their possessions. If last week is any indication, minus the turnovers, they're going to move the ball at will. Yes, it's going to be probably a little better of a defense, but I still think you don't drop balls, you don't throw interceptions, you're up 14-0 in the first quarter, and at that point, you do what you got to do to smash them.
Yeah, I feel very confident with the Aggies. I think that last week they really wanted to make sure they gave Haynes a lot of work. I'm sure Haynes is going to get a lot of work today. I think he'll be better than he was last week, and he was good last week, but I think they're going to be able to run on Colorado probably as much as they want to.
Yeah. I think they can run as much as they want to on almost any team in the country, right? And now what I think it's exciting is the fact that now there really is a thunder and lightning, because it is now a trend that both Spiller and A-Chain are going to get their touches, as opposed to how it was the beginning of last year. It was Spiller, A-Chain towards the last 2 games, LSU, Auburn, and then the Orange Bowl victory over North Carolina, and now what we've seen with Kent State. He's going to get his double-digit touches.
I think so. Can I give you 3 numbers?
Yeah.
Here's the 3 numbers: 268, 192, and 303.
Okay, hold on. Let me just try to put this together. You want me to guess what these numbers are about?
Yeah, what do you think they are?
268 yards is what you think Haynes is going to throw him for?
No.
Okay, help me out.
Okay, the 268 is how many in the last 3 games of last year. 268 is how many Arizona rushed for. 192 is how much Utah rushed for against Colorado, and 303 is how much Texas rushed for against Colorado in the Alamo Bowl. And
how much was Bijan?
Well, I'm sure a lot of it, but
probably most of it. Yep.
Again, the point is that this is a Colorado defense. Now, I'm sure there's some change, but did they change for the better or worse? We don't know.
Right.
But I'm sure that this is a Colorado defense that's still vulnerable to the run, and I think A&M probably has a better offensive line and as good a running backs as anybody, as any of those teams that they faced last year.
Part of the reason that I am not concerned about this game is that I think they do have one of the best run defenses in the country, right? If last year's any indication, a lot of those guys coming back. And I do think last week was more of a fluke / breakdown in plays and a defense that was there to stop the pass and take what they had to in the run. That's what I feel. So this week, I believe they know, take away the Colorado run, force them to pass, pick 6, thank you very much.
Yeah, again, see if you can't win on 1st and 2nd down and put Colorado consistently in 3rd and 6 or longer, 3rd and 5 or longer, and then you're going to have a really good day.
Let's go around and say hello to the peoples, even though Dalton already chimed in. Dalton, good morning to you. I know that you stayed up late watching Dak Prescott have a pretty magical performance in a loss to the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah, did about what I expected them to do. They're going to score a lot of points and just never score more than the other team, I think, a lot.
You had to be a little encouraged seeing the way Dak played. I mean, what is it, 4 touchdowns I think I saw he threw for? Is that right?
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm an expert, but I expected that. It's Dak. They were talking about it on the broadcast last night. It's an ankle. It's not a knee. It's a little bit different.
Did you call it a broadcast?
Broadcast?
Okay. You made fun of my English earlier. I just wanted to make sure that we're on the same page.
After what I saw from Dak last year.
All right, Dalton, thank you very much. Let's go to the News and Social Center. Tomas Romo in the house. Hey, Tomas.
How you doing, David?
That wasn't awkward. How you doing? How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, and I just want to – Dalton touched on it, but Dak is back. He's ready to rock, and they'll win the division. I just want to throw that in there.
You're such a Cowboys fan.
With the last name Romo, how can I not be? I grew up dealing with Tony for about 12 years.
Didn't he throw somebody told me this the other day. Didn't he throw a pick six in his first pass? Or am I wrong about that?
Romo? I don't remember that.
Or maybe he did.
I remember him.
Maybe it was an interception.
I remember
he definitely threw a pick six that first game against Carolina Monday Night Football.
You remember.
I remember him fumbling a snap when he was trying to hold for
in the play. Was it in the playoffs against Seattle?
Yeah.
2006? Sound right?
I think it was 6 or 7.
No, it was 6. I remember I was watching the game in Phoenix.
Okay.
Because I was up there for the 2006 championship, Florida and Ohio State.
Look at you.
So I remember watching that game.
I was in Waco, Texas, unfortunately. Yeah, I know. Editing highlights. That game was on, I believe, right before the 5:30 newscast and cutting that before we went on the air. All right, Tomas, what do you got going on for us?
Texas A&M men's tennis team opens up the Midland Invitational this weekend. This will be their first action of the season as they look to piggyback on their 19-9 record of last season.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Hey, and I know you got some text messages to get into, but I should lay out the topic. We're going to get into it, our 3 things that we want to see this weekend here in the next segment. But what do you want to see from the Aggies on Saturday? Obviously, we want to see a victory. But like specific things, guys, if it's the running game, if it's stopping the run, if it's Haynes going off both with his legs and his arm, if it's the return of Michael Clemens and what that does for the defense. I want to hear from you. And I don't even know, can I give out the phone number if we're not on the radio? Probably not, because they wouldn't answer.
I think we are on the radio.
Are we back on the radio?
Yeah.
Hi, radio friends. How are you?
Chance.
Do we do a reset of the Rocky Mountain High?
People are saying, let's do the whole first segment again.
Can you get the teleprompter put back on for me, please?
By the way, I guess we know what you'll be Googling if A&M ever plays at West Virginia.
What am I going to be Googling?
Almost Heaven?
Yeah. What's the name of that song?
I think you're going to be Googling it too.
Almost Heaven. Country Roads.
Country Roads. I know
Take
that
me
song.
Home. That's what it is. And that's another John Denver song.
Well, hey, we're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Hello, guys. 888-44-ROLLO. You can call the show on the BCSI hotline. That number is 979-693-1150. Or you can text the A&B text line, Real Texas Banking. I did say what the question is. What do you want to see from the Aggies Saturday? Tomas, if you want to continue through, I know you got a couple responses there.
I have one response right now, and he's ready to see Demas finally get a catch.
Bing. I was going to say that.
Demas?
Yeah,
I think we're going to see him. I do. I know Billy doesn't know. He yesterday was talking about, I think on Ask Liucci Part 2, he discussed he doesn't know how the rotation is of the young guys moving forward. But I think this is going to be a game where we will see some of the young guys get some catches.
I hope so. I want to see a Demas and Baylor Cupp and Moose Muhammad and some of the guys that we've heard so much about with having this great ability, get a chance to go in there and give us a taste of what they're going to bring to the table.
Yeah, I'm pumped about that. I do want to see what happens there. I want to see Demas get his first catch. I do. I want to see him break off. I want to see his A-chain ability, if you will. I want to see Baylor Cupp, that potential we've known about since he committed to Texas A&M. I want to see all that put together. Moose Muhammad, the ability to catch the ball, make plays. So many guys that I want to see, but I want to see the first unit take it to the house early and often so we can see those guys mostly in the second half.
I would like to see them, we're talking about Devon Demas, run a play early where he just goes deep, and I don't even have to throw it to him. I just have to tell him, make sure you beat the corner. Make this corner, and then a play or two later, just have him by himself on one side and look like you got trips to the other side and just get a one-on-one matchup and just throw one of those quick, we used to call it I can't remember what we used to call it, hitch pass, just straight to him, and I got one-on-one and a cornerback that has to play off of him and then see what he would do.
All right, let's do this. Let's hit a break here. When we come back, we have to do our picks. We've got our pick'ems going on, our pick 6, I should say.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah. Gabe sends us a text message. He doesn't know how to use email. Then I got to copy and paste the text to email. It's just, Gabe, please. I know you're taking off time, but you can still write an email. Obviously, you wrote it somewhere. Just send it via email, bro. We'll do that, and we have 3 things we want to see. On the show, by the way, we are going to hear from Laura Rutledge. She'll be zooming in around 9:35. Billy's already in Denver. He'll join us around that time as well. And then, of course, the 10 o'clock hour, the final countdown, is going to be Steve McKinney and Billy, both virtually. We'll have that and more here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
This is the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
If you own construction equipment and need custom hydraulic hoses, get 10% off at WPI. WPI also has the best price in town for DEF at $8.50 for 2.5 gallons. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From O-rings and teeth, buckets and blades, any part for every brand of equipment is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan, Highway 21 East at Marino Road, or click WPI.com.
Everyone has a story to tell, and we want to keep telling your story, the stories that you really care about. Visit KRHDnews.com to submit your story, explaining why you think someone has a great story to tell. From things to celebrate, to things that inspire change, everyone has a story to tell, and we want to tell yours. Our news team is anxiously waiting to hear your stories and continue connecting with the Brazos Valley. Visit KRHDnews.com to tell us your stories to be featured on air and online.
The flagship station for Aggie athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. I came out in the 11th grade. Nobody was embracing you. The kids were cruel. It was very difficult to be gay. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
The hard part was determining that I was going to do it, but I definitely didn't do it alone.
At age 30, with the help of her mentor, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
I have a mentor, Maria. She convinced me to continue my education and to finish what I started to get my diploma. Just never judges. She's a true role model. If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
The best is yet to come in College Station.
Chase Lane is in for a touchdown! Yes!
Head coach Jimbo Fisher and the Aggies are ready to rise to the top of the SEC.
Touchdown Aggies to Anais Smith!
Join us Saturday. The Aggies visit the Colorado Buffaloes. Our coverage begins at 1:30 on your home for Aggies football, the Texas A&M Sports Network.
Listen to Aggie football on The Zone, online at radioaggieland.com, or tell your smart speaker, play Zone 1150.
It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. On The Zone, believe it or not. We're also on YouTube. We're also on TexAgs.com/live. You got to become a premium subscriber. Get to watch all the video of the show. We appreciate you doing that. It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, 911 University Drive East in College Station. We appreciate everything that they do there at David Gardner's Jewelers. And we're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And OB, by the way, I guess I should give out the number. 979-693-1150 is the BCSI Associates hotline. You can text the show as well on the A&B text line, 979-693-1150. Our question is, what do you want to see from the Ags this Saturday as they take on Colorado? But right now, let's go around college football and do our pick six. And we are starting off, OB, with Texas A&M and Colorado. That's the number one one that Gabe put on the list. 2:30 start there at Empower Field in Denver. It is a Fox broadcast. A&M is favored to win by 16.5.
Yeah, I'll take A&M and give the points. I'm thinking it's going to be something very similar to last week. I'm 41, 44, 17, something like that.
I'm taking the over as well in big-time way. I really do believe A&M is going to smash them, as I've said like 18 times this week. I just feel that. I feel that, and I hope that. Missouri at Kentucky. Kentucky looked really good last week, 1-0. Missouri also 1-0. That's going to be at Kroger Field on the SEC Network. Kentucky favored by 5.5.
Yeah, I think I like Kentucky in that. Kentucky showed that they can throw the football.
Yep.
You know what? Their quarterback threw for over 300 yards, which, that happens a lot, but it hadn't happened at Kentucky in 51 games.
Is it that long, really?
51 games. I looked it up yesterday.
Wow.
So they've got a good running back, and they've always been kind of strong at the offense and defensive line under Stoops. And now they got somebody who can throw it. And I think one of the things that really helped Missouri last week was they had 9 sacks. Did you see that? 9 sacks.
That's fantastic.
The kid from the transfer from Rice had 3.5 of them, but I think it's going to be harder to rush the passer against the offensive line of Kentucky.
You're absolutely right there. All right, now we go to number 3. Pittsburgh also 1-0 at Tennessee, 1-0, 11 a.m. Island Stadium. That game's on ESPN, and Pitt is favored by 3.5.
Yeah, so I'll take the points because I don't know enough about either of those teams. So I'm taking is that a home dog?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll take the home dog and the points.
I'm going to take the under on here because I think Pitt is going to make it interesting. I do. Tennessee's going to make it interesting. Sorry.
Yeah. So we're both taking Tennessee then?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
There we go. We go to number 4, Texas at Arkansas, both 1-0, 6 o'clock start. Razorback Stadium, old Southwest Conference rivalry renewed. They don't like each other. That game is on ESPN. Texas favored by 6.5.
Yeah, I don't want to do this.
I think you're going to say the same thing I'm going to say.
But I think I'm going to take Texas.
I am too.
And this, it's funny because I grew up a big Texas fan. And my dad was a big Texas fan. But their fans have made me anti-Texas. So, so I really would like to see Arkansas win, but I don't see it. I think Texas has more talent, and I hope I'm wrong, but if I had to put my paycheck on it, I think I'd take Texas and give the points.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. I hate reading too much into a game, but Arkansas didn't look great against Rice early on, and Texas, it was an interesting first half, but they were certainly the better team throughout the game and obviously pulled away. So I think Texas in the over in that one. Number 5. This one's I'm going to just read it to you, and then you tell me what you think. Oregon at Ohio State, 11 a.m. start at that one at the Horseshoe. Fox broadcast. Ohio State is favored by 14.5.
Yeah, Ohio State. I don't respect Pac-12 football, despite what happened in the Rose Bowl, what gloriously happened in the Rose Bowl last week. I don't respect Pac-12 football. I think Ohio State, even though they won by a comfortable margin, I think they came away not feeling like they played well last week, and so that's going to be a team at home feeling like they have to prove themselves, and I think Oregon's is going to walk into the old proverbial buzzsaw.
Yeah, I don't believe in Oregon either. I did it before the season started, but the more I've kind of peeked into what they're doing there, I don't. And I do think we'll know. I'm taking the over as well, by the way. I do think that we'll know so much more about those two teams for the remainder of the year. There's certain games, after 2 games, you really don't know yet. I think we'll know who Oregon is and Ohio State is after this one.
Is Thibodeau out for Oregon? I think he might be.
He's last I heard, it was unknown. So, yeah he's probably going to be out on that one. So that's a big loss there for Oregon. All right, so we go to number 6. Terrible Washington, 0-1 at Michigan. 7 o'clock start at the Big House. That game is on ABC. Michigan favored by 6.5.
Yeah, I'll take Michigan all day long. I know they lost their best receiver for the year.
Yep.
But Montana beat Washington. Tony Montana,
yeah.
Yeah, so I have to take Michigan.
Yeah, I'm taking Michigan too. We had a Michigan insider, Chris Ballas of the Wolverine.
Yeah, I love him. He's a good friend.
He's a good dude, very good dude. And, he talked a little bit about how Harbaugh has kind of learned from his past. I use the word cocky. That's not maybe the right word, but his the bravado, being seen everywhere, like every camp in the world. He's kind of taken a step back in that. And, obviously he has a new staff, and they're trying to fix things out there. They looked good last week, and I think Washington looked so bad. I am interested to see how bad. I think Michigan could beat them considerably.
Yeah, you never know, but I think they're giving away money at Michigan at 6.5.
Yeah, I agree.
You lose at home to Montana, I don't think you're going to beat Michigan in Ann Arbor.
No, I don't. And to recap where we started, Texas A&M at Colorado, that game 2:30 tomorrow. We both agree that it's going to be more than what the spread has at 16.5.
I think they'll cover, yeah.
Yeah, I do too. And I'm hoping they cover early. Like it's and look, I know not every game is going to feel rosy, and I think Colorado is a formidable opponent. But this is one of those that I think A&M knows that they left some points out there last. It's kind of how you talked about Ohio State. Mm-hmm. A&M won by 31, and they feel like they didn't play well. I think that same application that you had for Ohio State can be used against Colorado. And if they get up early, Colorado's not going to have the firepower to make it a game.
I don't think so. I think if, like you said, if you get up early, if you put Colorado in a position where they have to throw to come back and have a chance, then I might as well go home. It's over.
And I read a stat, I believe, yesterday. Jimbo is 19-0 at A&M when leading after the first quarter.
Yeah, I saw that. And so lead after the first quarter.
Done, right? Done. And I think Gabe, I keep talking about what other people said, but I think Gabe said the other day on the air he expects, somebody said it, maybe it was Gabe, that he expects maybe more Aggies than Colorado fans at the game. That I don't know, but I do think it'll be, I'm hearing from a lot of Aggie fans going to this game.
Yeah, I've even heard yesterday that the airplanes were full. A lot of Aggies were going up there to see Jimmy Buffett at the Red Rock Amphitheater, to make it a long weekend. Wish I could have been with them. Saw my friend Sam Salvato and his wife Linda were up there. And, and having done enough of these road trips, that one big road trip a year, and the Aggies travel really well.
Our good friend Brandon Leone, who's going to be on our post-game wrap this Saturday, he's already in Denver. Apparently he doesn't play golf, but was on the golf course with his friends yesterday taking pictures out there. He sent me one from out there. So people are having a good time already. We'll have Brandon on our post-game wrap on Saturday. We're going to do it the same format, by the way. We will go live after the game, but it'll probably be about 30 minutes after the game, 35 minutes. I'll try to wait till the A&M press conferences are done. I'll be live. You think it'll be longer than 35 minutes? Oh, okay. You gave me a look.
I was suppressing a yawn.
Oh, it's a good move. It looked like you were like, David, you're wrong about something. So roughly right after the game, Spencer Neely going to be on that program. Chris Taylor going to be on it. Brandon Leone, as I mentioned. Hopefully Luch will pop on. Maybe even OB.
Neely?
Yeah, Spencer Neely.
Do I need to get a dump button?
Probably.
I don't know that side of him. Does he?
I don't know. He's a lawyer now. But there was a time.
Yeah.
There was a time.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell you about the time he took me to Northgate, David.
Neely is a lawyer.
And hey, I just got a text from Randy. They were the Association of Former Students. They got already, 4,000 registered for the All Aggie tailgate there in Denver. We need to make a stop. We have to do a stop by.
We'll stop, sure.
We'll stop by. I mean, if they want to offer us food.
I have never turned down food, especially yesterday.
We got to talk about that in the next segment.
Pretty awesome.
Well, I feel like such a 2%er. I bolted. We'll tell that story. Plus, we'll get into 3 things that both of us are looking to. But right now, a moment for our friends at the Association of Former Students. I told you, Randy texted us about the Aggie tailgate out there. You want to go check it out and go register there online. But I can't wait to stop by and say hi to our friends there, Porter, Catherine, Randy, Lexi, all the whole crew out there. They are so great, and the association has been helping out so many different people. You know what they do. Obviously, game day activities, they're all over that. And, Aggie Park is coming up soon. They're going to revitalize that and have it ready to go for next season. You also have Ring Day coming up real soon. They're on September 24th, right before the Arkansas game. But they are the oldest organization serving Texas A&M and Sport of the Aggie Network. They are here. They are there. They are everywhere. And none of that would be possible without your help there and helping out the Aggie Network. So giving to the association is very simple. You can become a Century Club member. I lost touch for a little while. I'm back all in. $100 a year, $9 a month. You're going to get the decal, the plaque, and the Texas Aggie magazine. Plus, you're continuing in the oldest most inspiring tradition of Aggies helping Aggies. To learn more about the impact of the association or get involved, make a gift, visit aggienetwork.com/giving.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. This is the last call for nonprofits wanting to participate in this year's Brazos Valley Gives event. Register by Friday at brazosvalleygives.org. You're invited to the inaugural I Love America Fall Festival this Saturday from 11 to 7 at Santa's Wonderland. Visit ila-ff.org for more information. Grief Share, a special help seminar and support group for people experiencing grief and loss, will be held on Sundays at Peace Lutheran Church starting this Sunday. For more information, call 693-4403. Brazos County Master Gardeners invite you to their Get Growing series this Sunday at Lick Creek Park. Register through the City of College Station Parks and Rec website. Your home for Houston Texans football is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. You can hear every game, home, road, all season long, right here on Aggieland's only all-sports station. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Howdy, Ags. This is Dr. Krishna Shanmugam from BCS Eye Associates. I'm a fellowship-trained cornea and glaucoma specialist and eye surgeon, but most importantly, fighting Texas Aggie class of 2007. I was born in Aggie, raised in Aggie, and now back in the Brazos Valley to serve Aggieland, the incredible place that made me the person that I am today. We're the only fellowship-trained glaucoma, cornea, and cataract surgeon in town, and would be delighted to take care of you locally for your eye exam and your eye surgery needs. Give us a call to schedule an appointment today with Dr. K at BCS Eye Associates at 979-701-2020 or visit mybcsi.com.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Bryan Broadcasting is your home for high school football. Bryan High, A&M Consolidated, Rudder, and College Station High play on the Bryan Broadcasting family of stations. No matter where you are, hear every play, every game, all season long, thanks to Prosperity Bank, Kelly Burt Dozer, Zwerneman Flooring, and BCS Toyota. To find out when and where to hear your favorite team, go to brazosfootball.com.
You can hear every Aggie football game, home, road, national championship, right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Game Day on the Zone is brought to you in part by Stephen Gustitis, attorney at law, BCS Allstate agent Jerry Anderson, and Higginbotham Insurance. 30 minutes after every A&M home game, tune in for the Twin Peaks Call-In Show, powered by TexAgs.com.
It is TexAgs Radio. I was a 2%er yesterday. That story coming up here in a second. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. But we are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. And if you're in the market for an engagement ring, I know you guys are in love with people out there. Come on, get married. Get a wedding band or stackable anniversary ring. Save the date for David Gardner's ring in season promotion. That is going to be October the 13th through the 16th. David Gardner's will have an extended selection of diamonds, engagement rings, wedding bands, and more. Don't miss an opportunity to swing by while they have the largest selection of the year at the best prices. They have special pricing and extended financing will be offered. Appointments are not required, but highly encouraged. Check them out, davidgardnersjewelers.com. All right, OB, we're going to get into some 3 things that we want to look for this week. But first, I ate more than 3 things yesterday. So I'll set up the story, then you take over. OB calls me, I don't know, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. When was it? Wednesday night.
Yeah,
right?
Night before.
And you're like, hey, there's this commercial that's going to be shot at this awesome restaurant. We'd love for you to come by. They need some actors or some models for this. I'm going to be there. You come. Can you be there? I was like, well, I got something going on. I'll show up a little late. I didn't think they were going to be giving us food. I thought I was just going to sit somewhere, take a picture. And so I had lunch at home. I had a doctor's appointment virtually, did that. Rolled over there. You at that point were like Hollywood star. Like they were feeding you, taking pictures of you. I think you had makeup on. Like you were taking it to the full extent.
I had no makeup on, but I was eating. I don't know if we can say the name of the place, so I won't. But it is there's a large South American country that it's it's themed on, and so they're coming around with all these enormous skewers of meat. And I'm at a table with 3 people I've never met before, and met them and had a great time meeting Susan and Hendrix and Cassandra. Yeah, they were fun people, and they're coming over and, hey, do you want some? And it got to the point where some of them were saying, no, this. I said, yeah, I'll try this. I'll try this. I probably ate 6 different kinds of meats.
Oh, I did too, and I wasn't expecting to at all. I had lunch right before I came.
I wasn't expecting to either.
And they just kept on. And like, how do you say no to great food that's free?
I can't.
So I got there 2:05. I had to leave by 4 to pick up kids from school. I let it be known, and I ate that entire time, those entire 2 hours as I waited for my shoot. And at around 3:53, and I was like, I got to go. And I felt like such a loser. Like, I ate all your food, and now you can't use my name, image, or likeness.
Yeah, it's funny. They said, we're looking for some, handsome guys. And I said, and so you want to know if I know somebody? And they said, well, kind of. And I said, but you can come too. I'm like, yeah, but the hat looks good on you. And I said, well, let me get in touch with my friend David. He's a lot better looking than me. And I think you said that somebody came in and said, hey, Olin's right. You are a lot better looking.
I don't mean no disrespect.
It was basically, I retold the way you told me the story. It's like, hey, I got my friend David who's better looking than me, which I don't know if that's true. But,
it is, but
yeah, you're right.
I'm very comfortable in my
own skin,
in my unsightliness. I've accepted it a long time ago.
Hey, let's do this real quick. We don't have to do it quick. We can take our time. Let's do 3 things that we're looking forward to this weekend, or 3 things that we want to see. OB, I'll start with you. What are 3 things that you want to see? And I hope they're not the same, but they might be the same.
Yeah, I'd like to see Haynes King play well, but eliminate the turnovers.
Yep.
Always eliminate turnovers. I would like to see the run defense be really strong. And I was going to say the Demond Demas thing, but since we've already been there, I would really love to see, and I probably won't, but I'd love to see Devon A-Chain return a kickoff, or somebody return a kickoff.
Well, let's start there with A-Chain, because I know that's one of the things that if you're going to pick on something, that's one of the things you want to see more of A&M taking it out of the end zone. You want to see them run.
I do. I think, and what if they don't make it out to the 25? Okay, but what's the old saying, no guts, no glory?
You got to think with A-Chain, that speed alone, you're going to get to the 20 at the very least.
You would think, but I just think that's an unusual weapon, and he's just so electric that I can remember. It kind of reminds me of Leland McElroy. A lot of Aggies remember this. I once went to covered a A&M Rice game, and I think it was in '93. It might have been '94. Leland McElroy returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns back to back. A&M had a 14-3 lead, and the offense hadn't gotten on the field yet.
Right.
And then I remember him in '93 returning a kickoff for a touchdown against Texas. He was just such an electrifying guy and such a threat on returns.
A-Chain is that same.
And I think A-Chain can be the same thing, if not more, because A-Chain's even faster than Leland.
Do you think the analytics in sports has kind of changed some of that gambling?
Yeah, I think so. And I understand what Jimbo was getting at last year. He had some young guys returning kicks, and I remember Chase Lane made I think it was in the Vanderbilt game, made a poor decision, and maybe he just said, we're a running team. Let's just start at the 25 and go.
Right.
But I also remember him when he had Jay-Sean Corbin returning a kickoff for a touchdown against Arkansas. So if you've got a chance, that's why I buy lottery tickets. I'm probably not going to win it, but at least I got a chance. So when I got A-Chain back there returning a kick, and maybe he won't make it back to the 25, but I got a chance that he's going to go all the way.
You do have a chance.
Probably a good chance. Better chance than I have of winning the lottery.
So I would say that my 3 things are in the same vein, or at least one of them is, and I'll start off with Haynes, okay? Now, you want to see him cut down the turnovers. We all do, right? I 100% agree with that. But I want to take it a step further.
Okay.
I want to see this guy with design run plays.
Okay.
Okay, so last week we saw a little bit of it, right? We saw him scramble. I want to see let me go ahead and preface this, not that I have to. I don't want to put him in a position to get hurt. I'm not saying that. But I'd like to see that speed on display a couple times where he has a chance to pick up a 30 yards. Maybe it is scrambling. Maybe it's just a design run play. But I want to see him use his feet, get a couple 30-yard runs, How about one 30-yard run in there? And I just want to see those legs put on display.
Yeah. Yeah. They did have a play last week, right, where it seems like they faked into the line and then they ran an option.
Correct.
It was kind of like the old broken bone.
Yeah, yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah, I did too. I want to see that because we heard the legend of the speed, right? And I think we saw a little bit of, obviously, with the one Johnny play, we saw it. I want to see it more going upfield as opposed to left and right. And by the way, left and right is great, but I just want to see how opposing defenders are trying to stop the speed in Haynes King. So that's one. The other one I want to see is, again, on the same running game conversation, I want another Devon A-Chain special. We know what he did in the Orange Bowl. We know what he did last week. We know what he did against Auburn when he started really getting his numbers. 99 yards in the Auburn game. He had the 76-yard touchdown in the Orange Bowl. He had the 63-yard touchdown in the game against Kent State. I want to see him do that. In his last 3 games, averaging 121 yards per game. And last week, 2 touchdowns?
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. More of the Devon A-Chain special. I love watching him. It's kind of like what you said about returning kicks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see him everywhere. I just want to see more of him.
Yeah, returning punts, running. I'm going to throw. I know you got 2 more, but I'm going to give you one.
I got
more
one
bonus.
more. I just got one more.
I got a bonus. I would love to see a set with A-Chain and Spiller in the backfield at the same time.
Oh, that is such a beautiful idea. I love that idea. The last one I want to see, the Michael Clemens effect.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Cyclops.
4.5 sacks last year in 4.5 games. But having another pass rusher next to DeMarvin, to me, is such a luxury because he can disrupt so much, but he's going to see the bulk of the double teams. So having Michael, who we know can attack the quarterback, who's just a specimen of a man, I want to see what that effect has on the rest of the defense. What does it do? Does it help the secondary? Secondary looked pretty salty last week. What does it do for the rest of the line? And what does it do to opposing quarterbacks when they know they've got such an imposing line coming at them from Peavy to Leal to Clemens? I'm excited about seeing what they do there.
Yeah, because I think you and then you can take Peavy, Leal, Clemens, Shamar Turner,
yep.
And then if Elko just wants to get crazy, rush those 4 and bring Hansford in on a blitz, who's a really good blitzing linebacker, or Antonio Johnson.
Absolutely.
And, what do you do?
Nothing.
Yeah, you get sacked. That's what you do.
It's a wrap. So
I do hope they also see whoever is in the spy position be more effective than they were last week.
Sure. Yeah. And in fact, that was one of the things you brought up very early on in that game. They need a spy out there. They need to do a better job against the Kent State quarterback. What was his last name again?
Dustin
Crum. Yeah.
And I think most people, I think everybody, but just in case, I think everybody knows what a spy is, but just in case you don't, it's like a defensive back or a fast linebacker who kind of hovers around the line of scrimmage on a passing play and just follows the quarterback in case he scrambles. He's supposed to just kind of mirror the quarterback, and then if the guy, then you pick him up.
Yeah.
So that's a spy in case you didn't know.
All right, that is 3 things we want to see. We'd love to hear from you on your 3 things that you want to see. You can text the A&B text line 979-693-1150. You can call the show, the BCSI Associates Hotline 979-693-1150. When we come back, bank on it, ladies and gentlemen. We want you to bank on it. We'll bank on it. But right now, let's talk about Milliken Reserve. What a beautiful, beautiful community. Those of you who come in on game day weekends, just drive by Milliken. This is what's going to happen. You're going to drive by Milliken Reserve. You're going to be like, honey, I think we need to move back to Aggie Land. I think we need to live here. I'm talking like huge acres, beautiful lots. Their mission is to build a healthy and community around nature. They've got the dedication to conservation, healthy community. They've got 260 2,600 acres of open space, farms, 30 miles of trails and homes. They connect families to nature. It is a beautiful atmosphere out there. My wife went and did yoga. We get the veggies done from them. We don't even live in the community. We're in an apartment about 5 miles away, and we love everything about Milliken Reserve. The veggies are so fresh. Hiking, banking, canoeing, you name it. They've got it out there. Learn more at millikenreserve.com, and don't forget about their annual Pumpkin Palooza, October 16th through the 17th.
You're listening to The Zone. Aggieland's all sports station.
Howdy, y'all. This is Cullen Gillespie, former 12th man. I've always tried to help my team on and off the field. And now I'd like to help Texas A&M fans like you cut their electricity bills in half. Yep, in half. It takes less than 5 minutes and you'll save hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars every year. 90% of Texans overpay for electricity, so don't be one of them. Sign up today at energyogre.com and use code GILLY, G-I-L-L-Y, for a free month of service.
Howdy, this is Steve Bledsoe, fighting Texas Aggie class of '83, with some exciting news. Verabank is now open with our new full-service location on Highway 6 in College Station. With personal bankers, business bankers, Verabank has everything you need in one convenient location. Come see for yourself where genuine banking is waiting for you, and you can bank on it.
Visit verabank.com today. That's VERA bank.com. Verabank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Family-owned Dixie Tire Company is your authorized Mastercraft and Cooper tire dealer. Need tires for your car, truck, tractor, trailer, lawnmower, or even your wheelbarrow? Dixie Tire Company has them. Need a certain brand of custom wheels or auto accessories or truck lift kits? Need a flat repair, tire and wheel rotation, or tire pressure sensor repaired or replaced? Dixie Tire can help. Serving the BCS for over 30 years at 301 West William J. Bryan Parkway, across from the fire station. Open Monday through Fridays until 6 and Saturdays till 1. Call them at 775 Tire.
The 15th Annual Fall Wedding Show and Benefit is Sunday, September 19th at the Brazos County Expo Complex. Meet local event professionals offering everything you'll need to plan your wedding. Tickets are $20 at the door or $15 in advance online now at wabv.org. You won't want to miss meeting local wedding professionals or the chance to win a $1,000 gift certificate valid at any Wedding Association member. Get your tickets now for the 15th Annual Fall Wedding Show and Benefit at wabv.org.
Today, millions of people all across America are building a life in recovery from addiction and mental illness, helping themselves
and helping each other, with friends, family, and community lending their strength and support.
Join the Voices for Recovery.
Together, we are stronger.
For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders, for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
On Sports Talk, Chip is unhappy that his people didn't get him an invitation to the Venice Film Festival.
And here is yet another big event that I had missed because I wasn't invited to, because my people aren't keeping up with stuff like this.
Sports Talk, keeping you front and center at most of the big events since 1994. Weekdays from 4 to 6 on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Your favorite?
Well, what I do is I first think of what song does this real song does it remind me of?
What does it remind you of?
That one's the way it started out, Superstition by Stevie Wonder. Maybe it had a little bit of that thing.
A little Superstition, okay.
Yeah. The one before that, I was thinking of a Tom Petty song.
I like the Tom Petty song that Broninger's making me listen to every week. It's called Tom Petty from like a young country band. It's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's, you don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I think my taste of country music is different than Broninger's.
Yeah, well, he's got a wide array of music he listens to, from hip-hop to Tejano to country. He loves it all. By the way, what's the name of this show?
This show, The Go Hour.
Well, true, but the actual show name.
Oh,
TexAgs Radio, presented by?
So many. David Gardner, Rollo.
Yeah,
whatever.
there we go. We got
a lot of.
We got a lot of sponsors.
We love them all.
We do. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Thank you very much to Jason Rollo and the group over there. The difference is real. Rollo Insurance, independent insurance company built around educating you on exactly what you're paying for, doing the shopping for you so that you can accomplish your insurance goals. Their headquarters is on Highway 6 right here in College Station. And you can call them up at 888-44-ROLLO or go to rolloinsurance.com.
All right. Jason Rollo's father-in-law is a football coach.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I did know that. Yeah. We had a meeting when I first moved to town. They're a football family right there.
He might have, and I don't know this. I could be wrong on this. But his dad, his father-in-law, I think, I remember when he coached at Troop because I interviewed him, but he might have been at Groveton. He might have been Rodney Thomas's high school coach.
We need to go
I don't know
investigate.
that to be the fact, so I could be wrong on that.
We can call him. Get him on the show.
Jason Rollo would know.
Hey, it's time to bank on it. Authentic relationship-based banking built for real life. Go see Joel Jackson and the team over there. Learn more at verabank.com. OB, what are you banking on?
I'm banking on it finally happens. I'm thinking on Damon Demas scoring a touchdown this week.
Not just a catch.
No, not just catch. I'm thinking and I think it's going to be 40 yards or longer. Gosh, I'm banking on it.
I love the way you bank.
Yeah.
You're like Joel Jackson clone.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm not banking on it. I'm banking on it.
You're banking it.
I'm Texas banking on it.
There's no G.
No G.
We throw away the G. How would Ed O say that?
We throw away the G. Go Tigers. No, he's an old Tigers because I'm Coach OB now. Coach OB.
Sorry, I know it's probably too quick to bring that back, but I loved it too much. Hey, I'm going to bank on...
Sissy, blue shirt.
I'm banking on A-Chain going over 100 yards, Spiller going over 100 yards, and Aniyah Smith with 100 yards receiving for the second straight game. I'm banking on those three. Bring him the heat!
Just throw in the 300-yard passing game, too.
I mean, if you want me to, fine.
100, 100, 100, 300.
Done. And if your thing comes true, if your bank comes true, Demas has part of it, why not 350?
Why not?
We're going to just bank on everything right now?
Hell yeah. I'm banking on everything. I'm trying to think of a bank.
Tomas?
Joke, and I couldn't.
I don't know if you're banking. I don't even know if you're old enough to bank. But do you have any text messages for us before we go to break?
I do. Steven from Big Springs got 3 keys. Dominance on both sides of the line. Establish the run game and stop theirs. 2, more turnovers on defense. And 3, finishing drives with touchdowns. And David, talking about banking on it, I'm banking on some mile-high magic from Haynes King this weekend.
Okay. Please go on.
All this banking. You know, I even moved to an apartment that's on top of a bank.
Really?
So, yeah, now my asset's over $10 million.
I like the way you worked that one in. Tomas, give me 30 seconds on why you're banking on that. Actually, 15 seconds.
15 seconds. I think Haynes King's going to come out and he's just going to dominate. I think we're going to establish the run game, set up the play action maybe a little bit, let him use his feet. And I'm with OB. I think Demas is going to have to come in with the altitude, and I think he's going to sling it. I think Caleb Chapman's going to have a big game as well.
Demas Romo and Tomas Romo.
I've always felt, and I still feel this way, that A&M wins the 2012 national championship if Louisiana Tech does not cancel the game, because Johnny needed one game to just kind of get his feet wet.
Yep.
Well, Haynes got his feet wet.
I love the way you think, OB. We'll be driving here soon. Thanks so much for doing the first hour. When we come back, hour number 2, we're going to have a good show. We've got, what do we got? Laura Rutledge coming up at around 9:35. Liucci as well. We'll talk to you then.
This is your home for TexAgs Radio. Louis Bellina and Chip Howard. Now listen, this is The Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
He was the heart of your family, and he taught you our history. He helped you fix your first flat. He was the best backyard DJ around, and every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect, in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage. The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at StoryCorpsConnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
Like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. Follow us on Twitter at Zone 1150. Get connected now. Get connected now. With the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. This is KZNE College Station, Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. 4 more Brazos County residents have died from coronavirus, bringing the pandemic death toll to 297. The health district reports the recent deaths were 2 men in their 60s and women in their 80s and 90s. All the deaths were unvaccinated people. Find more pandemic information at brazoshealth.org. For the second time in 7 months, a College Station City Council majority sides with residents in a single-family neighborhood. 225 residents in Doves Crossing signed a petition against changing the land use designation on 10 acres along Graham Road between them and the ILT school to build up to 110 townhomes. The council voted 4-3 last night to delay action for 7 weeks. That's to give developers another chance to get approval from Doves Crossing residents, who Mayor Carl Mooney says need to be respected.
We need to fine-tune this development. The folks in Dove Crossing, I still believe that townhomes could be here, but I don't think we need to be trying to see how many sardines we can fit into a can.
Last night's vote follows the council rejecting a proposal to build more than 240 apartments by a 5-2 margin in February. The Brazos Valley Veterans Memorial invites you to a 9/11 remembrance ceremony. CIO Lacey Lively says they're dedicating 3 new statues for the 20th anniversary.
We're going to have a firefighter statue, a police officer statue, and a special ops soldier. So these are our first public safety statues out there. It's really special.
Tomorrow's ceremony starts at 11 a.m. at Veterans Park. You're invited tomorrow to join retired local art teachers and professors on the Aggie Land Art Trail. Mindy Austin of the Visual Arts Society of BCS extended the invitation at last night's College Station City Council meeting.
Putting together what I know was never done before, and that's maps of where you can find the sculptures, the murals, the artwork in our whole community.
More information is at the Facebook page Aggie Land Art Trail. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Does your bank know your first name? At Normandy State Bank, they do. Normandy State Bank is locally owned, controlled, and operated. This local personal touch means banking decisions are made on site the same day you request it. Normandy State makes banking easy. They're open Saturdays, offer state-of-the-art online banking, bill paying, fund transfers, check and statement images. Normandy State, where customer service is their priority. Normandy State Bank, rock solid. Member FDIC.
Everyone has a story to tell, and we want to keep telling your story, the stories that you really care about. Visit KRHDnews.com to submit your story, explaining why you think someone has a great story to tell. From things to celebrate to things that inspire change, everyone has a story to tell, and we want to tell yours. Our news team is anxiously waiting to hear your stories and continue connecting with the Brazos Valley. Visit KRHDnews.com to tell us your stories to be featured on air and online.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Number 5, Texas A&M football is gearing up to take on Colorado tomorrow in Denver. The Aggies scored 41 points in the season-opening win over Kent State, but Coach Jimbo Fisher thinks the offense can be even more explosive.
You want to go out there and it comes from you want to make that play so bad, or you want to get in there and you start ad-libbing. It's you can do it, but you got to stay within the framework of things. But we can. I mean, we dropped a touchdown. We had a big touchdown drop in there and still played really well. I mean, there's a lot of potential for guys that can run with the football, catch it. Quarterback can throw it. He can run it. Our tight ends can block and catch. I mean, it is in our offensive line. And we have a lot of potential. But again, potential means you haven't done it. And what I'm looking for is the consistency and the physicality that we do it with.
We'll see what the Aggie offense can do tomorrow when it takes on Colorado at 2:30 right here on The Zone. Aggie men's basketball has released its SEC schedule for the upcoming year. The Maroon and White will tip off their conference slate on January 4th at Georgia before returning home to host Arkansas on January 8th at Reed Arena. Coach Buzz Williams enters his 3rd season with the Ags, who are coming off an 8-10 campaign and a 2-8 SEC record. Head out to the volleyball court where the Maroon and White welcome Houston to town this evening. The ladies sit at 3-2 on the year and have won 2 straight. First serve is at 6 o'clock at Reed Arena. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
The Liucci Hour Happy Hour is a must part of any Aggie football season. Join Billy Liucci of TexAgs and Zach Taylor, the Infomaniac, every Monday and Thursday at 6 at the Tap. Or listen in right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Liucci Hour Happy Hour every Monday, Thursday at 6 is brought to you by King Ranch Saddle Shop. Also brought to you in part by B&B Automotive. It's the Liucci Hour Happy Hour.
Welcome back, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Hour number 2 in the house, here in the Rollo Insurance Studio, having a good old time as we get closer and closer to the Aggies invading Colorado. We'll be there in Denver. It's going to be fun, leaving after the show. And I did throw out a topic. I want to give our YouTube listeners some love, too, because I know they have some comments on my topic of the day. What do you want to see from the Aggies this Saturday? Obviously, we all know, yeah, we want to win. We want to win big. I got it. But what are some individual things that you want to see out there that would help you feel better moving forward? Pura vida says Chapman, 2 deep balls, 40 yards, plus catches, 4 TDs. Yep, I would love look, that is a guy that I don't think we've done enough love to. I know we did a little bit this week, but the way Chapman played in that first game, to me, is just such a great sign of things that we're going to see here in the future. Just opening up that offense with a quarterback willing to go down. I am very, very pumped about that. Chad on the YouTube chat says, watch out for Baylor Cup. River Kid 2006, in honor of Gabe, I have my bold prediction. We will have 3 100-yard rushers, Spiller, A-Chain, and the King, Haynes. Why not? You know, throw in Anaya Smith with 100 yards receiving, and now we got ourselves a huge, huge game. Look, they got to take care of business early. No more of this, going into halftime, not really getting your mojo going. Score in your first 3 possessions. I know that's asking for a lot. No, it's not. Not with the kind of expectations I have for this team. And then you can go into cruise control, and Mercer, we're not ready. We don't have the intensity Nick Saban formula. But go up big early and get some of the young guys in. That's what I would like to see. That's what I expect to see. So we'll see how that pans out. The number for the show, by the way, 979-693-1150. That is the BCSI hotline, and of course the A&B text line, 979-693-1150.
Hey, David,
yes.
Not 100% pertinent to Texas A&M, but we do cover college football here.
Yes, sir.
The Big 12 officially extends membership invitations this morning to BYU, Central Florida, the University of Cincinnati, and the University of Houston.
You're telling me this as Richard's eating a banana, looking into the studio awkwardly.
I think he said something about that being your birthday gift.
Watching him eat a banana?
Yeah. Did he eat the peel? Did he go,
He didn't eat the peel. That's disgusting, okay? Let me just tell the world what I don't want to see is somebody eating a banana in front of the studio on my birthday. On a Wednesday, maybe, but not today. All right, enough about that. So Big 12 does extend it, all expected. And now I guess the question will be, when will they join the conference? But I'm all about what A&M is going to do this weekend here on a Friday. Friday is all about the football. Let's go around the SEC and big storylines in college football. As you guys know, I have the new show that we launched 2 weeks ago. It's called Up to the Second College Football. Week 2, we had a huge guest on the show. I was so excited to talk to Mark Richt, the former head coach at Georgia and the University of Miami. He has a new book out. Very gracious in his interview. He goes into depth about A&M, talks a lot about the other storylines in college football, and about his fight with Parkinson's disease. Just a wonderful conversation with a great man. We had other stuff on the program as well, so go to our YouTube page, go to the premium boards. You can see it there. It's just a very good. How long was this one, Dalton? We cut the show down a little bit. We went 44 minutes week 1. How long did we go this time?
You cut it by exactly 11 minutes. It was like right at 33.
Okay. All right.
Moving in the right direction.
But before you know it, it'll be a 3-minute show. And
I don't want to do. We're not doing a TikTok here.
Okay. Well, one thing I can guarantee you is if TexAgs asked me to do TikTok stuff, I'm out. You mentioned Liucci and I and Olin trying to do a TikTok. Enough of that. Let's go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Go ahead. Come on.
No, that's good.
Are you on TikTok?
No.
Tell the truth.
No.
Is Richard?
No.
Maybe.
Until they start like giving away Dodgers gear on TikTok, he won't be on there.
True that. Here's my conversation with Mark Richt from Up to the Second College Football. And welcome to another edition of Up to the Second College Football. I'm David Nuño. We do it for the Saturdays. We do it for the culture. And it's week 2 of the college football season. We're joined by Coach Mark Richt, who obviously coached at Georgia. We saw him at the University of Miami. We see him all over the television at the ACC network. And now a new author with his book out, Make the Call, Game Day Wisdom for Life's Defining Moments. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
It's good to be here. How you been?
Doing all right, my friend. So let's first off start off with you. In July, that you announced that you were diagnosed with Parkinson's. How are you doing? How are you feeling? How are your spirits?
Right. I feel great. I just move slow. I'm in stage 1 of Parkinson's, which one of the main symptoms is something called bradykinesia. Brady means slow. Kinesia means movement. So I just kind of move slower than normal. And what used to be normal, I guess this is my new normal. But I feel good. I've been taking care of myself. I've lost some weight. I've been working out, doing all the things, eating healthy, doing things you should have done maybe for the last 35 years. And so I feel great, but I have Parkinson's. There's no denying it. There's no cure for it. The goal is just to stay in stage 1 as long as possible.
Coach, if you can, tell us how the book came together, Make the Call, Game Day Wisdom for Life's Defining Moments.
Well, I thought about writing the book back when I was head coach at Georgia, and I started the process knowing I had a short window of time one summer, and I don't know what made me think I could get it done. But by the time we were reviewing chapter 1, 2-a-days had started, so I just had to set the book aside and say, forget about it for now. And then after I retired from coaching, leaving Miami, my literary agent came back and said, let's do the book. I said, I don't know if I want to do it or not right now. And then about a month later, I had a heart attack, which was great. And so after that, I'm like, if I'm going to write this book, I better hurry up and write it because you never know what tomorrow will bring. So decided to go ahead and write it.
Well, I know that your relationship with Coach Bowden, who obviously passed a couple of weeks back, what did he mean to you and the impact in helping write his book as well?
Well, I loved Coach for a lot of reasons. He allowed me to coach quarterbacks as a graduate assistant coach, just coming out of college, basically. Had a couple tryouts in the NFL, got cut a couple times, but, a couple years out of college, I'm coaching the quarterbacks. And so from a professional standpoint, he gave me an opportunity I didn't even know how good it was until I look back on it. But more importantly, after the unfortunate death of one of our players, Pablo Lopez, who had gotten shot at a campus party during an open date, the very next day he had a team meeting, which I was at. He was talking to the players and basically said he didn't know where Pablo would spend eternity because he didn't know where he was in his faith. And he said, that chair is empty right there. Pablo used to sit in that chair. He said, you guys are 18 to 22 years old. You think you're going to live forever like Pablo thought he was. And now he's gone. He said, if that was you last night, instead of Pablo, do you know where you'd spend eternity? And he's talking to the players, but I heard it. And I thought about where I'd be if it was me the night before. And I knew it wasn't going to be a good place. So I came to his office the next day and told him, said, Coach, I heard what you're saying to the players. I hope you don't mind me coming in here. But I need Jesus. And so I prayed to receive Christ right there in his office. And so now, even, the fact that I know, when it's all over, I'm going to heaven, that there's peace in that. There's hope in that. When you get a diagnosis like Parkinson's, if the only thing you have is what you have on this earth, there's not a lot to look forward to. But when you're going to heaven for all of eternity, that there's a lot of hope in that. So I give Coach Bowden credit for that for sure.
It's a beautiful story, Coach. I want to ask you the title, Make the Call. Give me maybe some tough calls you've had to make in your career and your life.
Yeah, just so many. When you coach at a major college like that, there's so many calls that have to be made throughout a season. And some of the toughest calls are not on the field as much as it might have to do with disciplining of a player. I mean, it's one thing to take some playing time away from a kid for not getting it yet, trying to get him straight. But every once in a while, a guy do something a little bit on the egregious side, or just chronically not staying with the program, and you decide it's time he's got to leave the program. Those are some gut-wrenching decisions for sure. And so there's a lot of calls made outside of the game. Some of the calls you make during the game are not that hard to make, but sometimes they're hard to live with because of the results. And when you call, you think it's a good idea. And after it's over, you realize maybe it wasn't such a good idea. And then you got to answer to it. So the goal in those cases is to own it. If you make a mistake, own it in front of your team and in front of your staff and your fan base, and then move on in a positive, confident way.
Coach Richt, I got to ask you some football questions now. The Clemson-Georgia game, goodness, great defense being played in that one. Your thoughts on what you saw there Saturday night?
Right. Well, I predicted that it was going to be that kind of game. I didn't think it would be where no team would score a touchdown, offensive touchdown. But I knew that both defensive lines were stout. I knew they'd be tough to deal with. I felt like each quarterback needed protection. They're not that mobile. Each quarterback needed a running game. And if the offensive lines, I felt like whichever offensive line did the best would give their team the best chance of winning. But neither offensive line played that great. And I just was impressed with both teams' defense. Obviously, Georgia winning the game obviously was a big deal in the grand scheme of things. Clemson still has a lot to play for, but Georgia better get some answers on offense themselves, or they're going to run against some teams that can score points, and they won't be able to keep pace.
How surprised were you with all these close games and North Carolina falling? You had the Oklahoma game with Tulane that was super close. Iowa State also surviving. Right. A lot of close games in college football.
Right. Yeah, there really were. I actually picked Virginia Tech to win that game against North Carolina. I know how good of a quarterback Sam Howell is, but, he lost 2 1,000-yard rushers, 2 1,000-yard rushers, and 2 almost 1,000-yard receivers. And even though you got talent behind them, it's not the same. And if you're going to catch North Carolina at a good time, it'd be the first game of the year, and that's exactly what happened. So the bottom line was Virginia Tech playing at home, having that crowd noise for the first time in 2 years, and they were ready. They did a heck of a job. I got a chance to see a little bit of the Oklahoma-Tulane game, and that was wild. Tulane looked like they were going to take it after they got that onside kick. I'm like, they haven't gotten stopped yet, but Oklahoma finally just decided to bring the house and put the kid on the ground. But it was a wild game for sure.
Coach Richt, this show originates in College Station, so A&M is making their first trip to Colorado for the season, obviously. Your thoughts on A&M moving to number 5 in a road trip against Colorado?
Yeah, I was from Colorado. I grew up in a town called Broomfield, Colorado, about 20 miles outside of Boulder. And the thing that people they'll underestimate is the light air there. It's just there's a lot of truth to people coming from humid climates to hardly any humidity whatsoever, and the altitude plays a factor, especially with kids that might have a sickle cell trait or whatever in their blood. It's not an easy thing, and you can't get used to it in a 2-day period. So, I think you got to be very careful about the fatigue of the Texas A&M team, and I know they have depth, but I'd be subbing freely and early and often to make sure everybody gets through the game healthy.
Last thing for you, how does Coach Saban do it every year? Goodness gracious, that game against Miami, they just midseason form, new quarterback, no problem.
Well, in politics, you follow the money, they say, and in college football, you follow the recruiting. And obviously, they've been recruiting at a super high level for so long. They do everything in the world that you can to develop a player. They've got outstanding coaches. They have a system that people believe in. It's just a perpetual first-round draft pick machine. And, you could just – I told people in the ACC, I said, you just watch how big their linemen are. Look how big their D linemen. their corners look like safeties. Their safeties look like linebackers. Their linebackers look like outside linebackers. Their outside linebackers look like D tackles. I mean, it's just a different body type than you're used to playing against.
Coach Richt, we're praying for you. Thank you so much for making time for us. And I remind everybody, make the call. Game day wisdom for life's defining moments. Thank you again for joining the show.
I enjoyed it. Have a great day.
Good stuff there. Really enjoyed that conversation with Coach Richt. Hopefully we can get him back on the show. His publicist emailed me afterwards saying he really enjoyed it. I don't know if she sends that to everybody, but I'm going to take it as he enjoyed my conversation, ladies and gentlemen. It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We're going to get to your text messages on the A&B text line when we come back. And if you got a phone call, we'll take it, 979-693-1150. That is the BCSI hotline. But right now, I want you to text RADIO, RADIO, and not to our number. I get text every day, not to our number. Text it to 900-900 for your chance for the Big Friday giveaway. And that's courtesy of our friends at Aggieland Outfitters. All right, so, conference realignment is happening. Big 12 today made their noise. SEC is adding Texas at some point, Oklahoma. So horns down. How about that? And that's what you can get, this brand new exclusive item to Aggieland Outfitters. The cap is maroon in the front and white in the back with a white saw-off image stitched on the maroon background to show your hate for that school in Austin. We don't like them. We'll say it like that, too. It's a breathable cap, mesh back with plastic straps, so it can be adjusted for most any size out there. It is awesome, and I want to see this around town. I saw the one that they had last week with the run the ball hat. I want to see this one out there as well. And also, we're featuring this week Quattro Ranch, which in Spanish means four, but I think it's spelled differently because it's with a Q, so I don't think it. The Quattro Ranch freeze-dried Bitto honey, dried honey pot. We'll start with a crunch. Yummy. And melt in your mouth. That was a fake Edo. This is the perfect healthy snack for every Aggie out there. The hat, by the way, the Saw-Off hat, $24.99. You can get those all at Aggieland Outfitters.
You're listening to The Zone. Aggieland's all sports station.
For nearly 2 decades, TexAgs has been the #1 Aggie sports group online, and thanks to that passionate community, we've been able to grow it into so much more. TexAgs is now an industry-leading media company that covers Aggie football, basketball, baseball, and recruiting like nobody else. Our staff of over 30 consistently delivers in-depth analysis, X's and O's, award-winning video content, and the most reliable insider information you can find. So if you love the Ags, come check us out. Become a premium subscriber at texags.com/subscribe.
At Aggieland Roofing, we are proud to celebrate our freedom. We are proud to be Americans, and we are proud to fly the American flag. Howdy, I'm Roofer Girl with Aggieland Roofing. Flying the American flag is the American way of showing who we are at Aggieland Roofing. We honor all that have fought for our freedom. We pay homage to generations that fought in previous wars. We show support for those currently dedicating their lives to preserve the American way, and we remember those that didn't come home. At Aggieland Roofing, we show our respect to those that are responsible for our freedom by flying the American flag, not just on holidays, but every day. Not all of us are capable or willing to make that sacrifice, so we ensure that the ones that do know how much they are appreciated. Won't you join us? Look for the big 80-foot flags at the new location of Aggieland Roofing on Highway 6 North, just past OSR. Swing in and pick up your free American flag. Support our men and women in the military. And a salute to the lives lost and the lives changed forever from the acts of 9/11. May God bless America.
Bryan Broadcasting is your home for high school football. Bryan High, A&M Consolidated, Rudder, and College Station High play on the Bryan Broadcasting family of stations. No matter where you are, hear every play, every game, all season long. Thanks to A&B, Blinn College, BCS Toyota, and Ed Phillips Plumbing. To find out when and where to hear your favorite team, go to brazosfootball.com.
I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in Texas.
This message presented by the Texas University Interscholastic League and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Jalen Hurts. Jalen, thank you for joining us today.
Let me ask you this question, and give me the real now. Is it Boomer Sooner or is it Roll Tide?
Come on now.
Man, you know what?
No one's bailing. Hey, Jalen, no one's bailing you. No one's bailing you out.
I tell them roll Sooners. That's what I tell them. I keep it fly like that.
Roll Sooners. Okay.
Listen in mornings to Key, J. Will, and Max here on Sports Radio 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Yo, extended YouTube. Just found out. Laura Rutledge joining the show at 9:35, so we're going to give you that segment here on the program. It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And a good Friday morning to all of you everywhere. We appreciate you watching or listening on the CW, on the Zone, our partners here doing TexAgs Radio. We thank you so much for that. And, of course, you can catch us on texags.com/live. And on our YouTube stream, at least for another 20 minutes or so, 22 minutes I'm going to go with. Going with 22. Liucci going to be also joining the show from Denver, Colorado as well. So looking forward to catching up with Luch, find out about his trip and what we're going to get into tonight when we get to Denver. If we'll even see the Luchster. Who knows? I do want to get into something real quick. And by the way, you can text the show on the A&B text line 979-693-1150. Or if you want to call in, you can do it, 979-693-1150 as well. But right now I want to get into the three-headed monster that is Texas A&M. They're actually more than a three-headed monster, but the way the game notes kind of describe what we're seeing from A-Chain, Anias, and Spiller, it focuses on those three gentlemen. And as you guys know, in the Kent State game, A-Chain, Spiller, and Anias Smith gave the Aggies 2 100-yard rushers and one 100-yard receiver in a game for the first time since 2017. When I heard that and I read that note, I was like, really? Like, I would have figured that would have happened more, but obviously A-Chain didn't start becoming a big part of the offense until the end of last season, and so it happened. And the last time that happened, by the way, was back in 2017 when Kellen Mond rushed for 109 yards. Keith Ford had 102 yards on the ground. Christian Kirk had 110 yards receiving. And that was a game against Arkansas. Now, what we saw against Kent State, I believe, will be more the norm than every 2 or 3 years, especially this season. It will not be the only time we see that, in my opinion. And there's an added importance to what those three guys can do, because I do believe in the methodology of, you've got Spiller. By the way, all three guys can do very similar things, but excel in other areas. Like Spiller's fast, but he's not A-Chain fast. Anias is fast, he's not A-Chain fast, right? So you got and what does Jimbo call Anias Smith? The Swiss Army knife, right? He can do it all out there. He can run, he can pass, he can, come out of the backfield, he can split out wide, he can do it all. All three of those guys are going to bring some similarities, but some difference. So when you've got Spiller cutting through the tackles and just making people miss on these cuts and just that long stride that he has, and he busts open for a big run. You've got Anias, who can do that too, but you split him out wide. You can throw him there, the ball in the middle of the field where you're going to see a 35-yard pickup, or on the out and getting a big score. So you have those two guys. And then you have A-Chain, who's becoming a star. He became a star, obviously, in the Orange Bowl game nationally, but was that a one-time thing? That's what people were asking. No, it's not a one-time thing. He just needs the touches, and he's getting those touches now. If he gets between 10 and 15 touches, he's going to go over 100 yards. He's going to have one of those 40 to 60-yard runs that we've become accustomed to. You give the bulk of the carries to Spiller, he's going to come up with his 120 yards. And Anias is going to do that as well. That triple-headed monster that we have there is just, that is just like the identity of Aggie football. But then you throw in a Jalen Watermeyer, who I don't think had his best game with Haynes King last week. Didn't have a bad game, please don't. He did not have a bad game. But they weren't connecting as much as I kind of thought they would be connecting. 4 catches, 36 yards. I expect that to be a little bit higher. I expect a touchdown or two. He had, let me see if I had this right. Yeah, 4 catches, 36 yards. So, I expect that to go up a little bit. And oh, by the way, Caleb Chapman. Another guy who was so close to 100 yards receiving. He's going to be in that 80 to 100-yard territory as well. So that 3-headed monster is now starting to feel like a 5-headed monster, right? All while Haynes King is developing and we'll have some breakout games. So I started the segment thinking about the 3, but those 3 open everything else up. You're concentrating on Spiller. That play-action pass becomes deadly. Wademeyer open in the middle of the field. 13 yards, thanks, first down. Move the chains. All right. Anaya Smith, middle of the field, 30-yard reception. Okay, we're in scoring range. Oh, A-Chain, you want to take it out of the backfield and go 28 yards for a score? Okay, we'll take that too. Reset the drive. First down and 10 from the opposing 20. You go deep. Caleb Chapman, pick up 46 yards. Again, everything is predicated on what that group does together. But it all starts with how Spiller runs, how Anais plays, and I will say pass, run, whatever, receptions running, and A-Chain around the corners with that blazing speed. If it's out of the backfield for a reception or just running on a sweep, whatever it may be. Those 3 together, it's where it all happens. And I'm telling you that I do think the defense is going to be significantly better this week than they were last week, and the defense was pretty good last week, only giving up 10 points. But I think from a yardage perspective, the running game, even though Colorado comes with a nice running game, that's going to be limited. They're going to limit that as they go into the half, and it's not going to even, like, it's, if they can score on those first opening drives and make that, I really believe that it'll be a coast in the third quarter. But they've got to score on those opening drives, and if Colorado struggles the way they did last week on those initial drives, you score 10 points those first 2 drives, maybe make it 17-0 after the third drive. At that point, Colorado doesn't have the offense to keep up with what A&M has. The only way they could is if they called Caldwell Country and got a new car with a better engine. That's the only way. On Highway 21 in Caldwell and online at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They're probably not friends with Zach Hester. They live too far. But Zach Hester's friends with all of us who love A&M. He's so great. And they constantly have amazing deals on their website. And it changes every month. I've been telling you for weeks now about, if you've got a pre-owned vehicle you're trying to get rid of, they want to buy it. Hello. We want to add to our lot right now, and we're giving top dollar for it. They are the ones to do it, and then they're going to apply that, and they're going to help you out on your next vehicle because they're going to give you top value on your trade-in and apply it elsewhere. And it's very easy to do. You simply call, you can click, or you can stop by Caldwell Country Chevrolet. It takes about 15 minutes to get there. Brian at Caldwell, short conversation. Hey, man, how are you? I'm good. How are you? Okay, we're here in Caldwell. Thanks. All right, Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, and online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. BCS Habitat for Humanity is hosting its annual Tees for Keys golf tournament this Monday at their Traditions Club. Tickets are on sale at habitatbcs.org. The Elizabeth House Maternity Home Annual Banquet is Thursday, September 16th at the Ice House on Main. Find more at elizabethhousematernityhome.com. Join Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Texas on Friday, September 17th for an exciting night of fundraising at the 32nd Annual Bandana Ball. Find out more about this virtual event by finding it on our community calendar at WTAW.com. Learning at the library with the Brazos County Master Gardeners is Saturday, September 18th at 10 a.m. at the Mounts Library. Your home for football with the Fightin' Texas Aggies, the Bryan Vikings, the Houston Texans, plus Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night NFL from Westwood One is Sports Radio 1150 and 93.7 FM. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
is pretty bad.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind. Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
No matter your learning style or experience level, Babbel has lessons designed for you that will get you speaking quickly and confidently.
I tried learning Spanish before, but I couldn't stick with it until I found Babbel.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
I can't wait to use our new language skills on our upcoming adventures.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
The best is yet to come in College Station.
Chase Lane is in for a touchdown! Yes!
Head coach Jimbo Fisher and the Aggies are ready to rise to the top of the SEC.
Touchdown Aggies to Anais Smith!
Join us Saturday. The Aggies visit the Colorado Buffaloes. Our coverage begins at 1:30 on your home for Aggies football, the Texas A&M Sports Network.
Listen to Aggie football on the Zone, online at radioaggieland.com, or tell your smart speaker, play Zone 1150.
This music is atrocious. Goodness gracious. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. David Nuño here in studio. In the Rollo Insurance Studio. Going to meet up with Luch here a couple hours. We'll be leaving for Denver. Can't wait to see the Ags take it to Denver and take on Colorado. We'll break that game down. But right now we're joined by Laura Rutledge, SEC Network and SEC Network, ESPN, excuse me. How are you, Laura? How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Sorry for being Tommy 2 times. I said the same thing twice. So it's Friday morning.
You know what? I'm going to let that one slide, but if you do it again, I don't know what I might do.
Hey, so let's just start off with A&M with you for a moment. What are your thoughts on what you saw last week, a 31-point victory where many Ags thought they left way too many points out there?
Yeah, listen, I agree with that. But I also think when you look at A&M, there's a lot to be excited about. For me, you know, just even seeing, and I realize it's a much lesser opponent, but seeing the defense and the physicality that we expected out of the defense, I think it's going to be such a strength of this team. It's why, you know, they're already ranked 5th, but they can be ranked much higher. I expect them to be right in the mix for the college football playoff once again. I thought Haynes King looked good. He made some mistakes, but listen, he was out there, you know, kind of getting his feet wet, and he just didn't have a lot of experience yet. It's nice the way the schedule works out early on to sort of get him the opportunity at home, get him on the road a little bit, let him sort of get used to that environment. I think one thing that people have forgotten about, and I sort of thought about this as I was watching some of these games over the past weekend, you know, these guys, a lot of them haven't played in front of really any crowd, and definitely not a packed crowd, right? So it's some of the jitters, some of the just getting used to the noise factor and trying to manage that, especially offensively when it comes to communication. I think a lot of those kinks will be worked out this week, next week. You know, some of these teams that have to play big time opponents next week could be in a little bit of trouble early on, but the teams that luck out and don't have to do that until a couple weeks down the road should be able to work out some kinks. So I think there's a lot to be excited about with A&M, and they are such a 3-pronged offensive attack with the weapons that a lot of other teams in the SEC can't say that they've got, you know, 3 legitimate threats, and then you throw in Weidermeyer as well. I mean, there's just so many options offensively for this squad.
And how beneficial to Haynes is that, right? So the pressure's not totally on him. He's got people to go to. And by the way, we haven't even mentioned Caleb Chapman yet, too. Another deep threat.
Right. That's the thing. Like, I think there are so many options there. I think just knowing that you've got Spiller in the run game, there's, you know, somebody that you can rely on no matter what to make this offense go. And listen, like, as much as we want to say that offense is now in the SEC or stretch the field and air it out and do all that, yeah, that's true. It's maybe evolved a little bit more than we thought. Although if you watch that Georgia Clemson game, you would maybe say otherwise. But anyway, throughout most of the SEC, it's evolved in a lot of ways, but yet everything is still set and the tone is still set by the run game. And that's where I think A&M has such a key advantage to be able to run the football the way that they can. And and also get a young quarterback accustomed to, operating an offense with other guys he can rely on.
Laura Rutledge on the BCSI hotline. Laura, when we were at SEC Media Days, a lot of your partners were kind of high. Roman Harper, I remember, being very high on A&M. What's the vibe feel about around the set there at SEC Network?
Yeah, everyone's still really high on A&M. I think, one of the interesting things about last weekend is a lot of us expected LSU to be better. And when you look at the West, certainly you're going to say Alabama's king, but who can threaten Alabama? So we had a lot of conversations just going into week one about that. And some people were saying A&M, some people were saying LSU. Well, listen, LSU's got a lot to figure out. I think there's a ton of pressure on every situation there, whether it's the coaching staff or even the players. They've got so much talent. So to run into a UCLA team that's good, but they should have been able to at least be more physical with that team. I think there's some major issues there. Not to say they can't get it figured out, but it kind of puts, I think, I'll be interested to see how opinions change, because I think people are going to start slotting A&M up a little bit higher. Some of those who had LSU maybe a touch ahead of them. And the key is, honestly, as much as it's about offense and what Jimbo can do, I think a lot of it's about the defense. To be able to say that this A&M defense has evolved to the point that it's at now, and it is, I think, the strong point or one of the strong points of their team. That's what you need to do in the SEC West, especially. And if you're going to beat Bama, you're going to have to beat them defensively in a lot of ways. I think this situation for A&M, being able to rely on their D is really, really strong when you think about them threatening Bama in the West, which that's what it comes down to. They've got Bama at home. That's a winnable game. I think Kyle Field is always such an advantage that you just never know what can happen at that point.
Laura, outside of A&M, you look at one game. You don't want to read too much into it. Ohio State had some issues early on with Minnesota. They figured things out. Obviously, Texas figured things out in the second half. There's a lot of teams. Oklahoma struggled. But can you read too much into one game, or is it just exactly that, one game?
Yeah, it's just one game. I mean, it's so hard not to, because we get so excited because now we've finally seen these teams back in action, and you're like, oh man, this is the 100% way things are going to happen with this team. I've actually laughed at all the people saying that, oh, Clemson is so terrible. I'm not saying that their offense looked like it could do what we would hope it could do. I actually think their scheme has been a little bit archaic over these past few years, even with Trevor Lawrence at the helm. But they're not a bad team, right? I mean, right. Georgia is so strong defensively and had so much to deal with for Clemson in that first game, and yet it was still a very close game. So this is such a prisoner of the moment time, and we do this in college football. That's what makes it great, because every week really does matter so incredibly much when it comes to the college football playoff. But yes, there's so much time for these teams to figure things out. And like I said off the top, I really do think there's something to be said for everything last year being so bizarre. And a lot of these teams became accustomed to environments and processes leading up to games that are not what they're going to be doing this year, cannot be emulated in practice. This has been, sort of a splash into a pool that they had forgotten about or maybe had never even experienced before. And that's going to take a little bit of time to adjust to.
You're talking about being a prisoner of the moment. With Alabama, it's been a long moment, like over a decade. They seem like the same team last week with all new players.
Yeah, I mean, it is remarkable. I got to be totally honest. I had, certainly heard good things about Bryce Young, their quarterback, and it was able to watch him in practice a little bit throughout, his time that he's been on the team, and I've always thought he's talented. I was beyond impressed by the way that he performed in that game. And yes, people have said, and it is hard to know, okay, is it more about Alabama being great or more about Miami not being great? I think the truth is somewhere in the middle with these two teams. But the reality is that somehow Alabama continues to do this. And it's interesting because I was a little bit hesitant to buy into Bill O'Brien's scheme, just coming in there and working right away. Steve Sarkisian, I hate to bring up a Texas guy, but at this point he's now at Texas. And his offensive mind is unbelievable. So I'm thinking, how are they going to continue? I get it with the guys, they keep reloading these players, but from a coaching standpoint, how are they going to continue to do it? And then yet the scheme looks almost exactly like it had before, except you've got a quarterback who, is more mobile and can do a lot of things. And they've got their weapons out in space. And it just seems like everybody's so wide open all the time. How is that even possible? I think defensively, a couple of the injuries are going to hurt him after that game, but they're in a good spot with Henry To'oTo'o being able to call the defense from that middle linebacker spot. I think makes a lot of difference in a Saban defense where so much of it is called by that position, and they haven't had somebody who could really pull that off. So, the fact that Tennessee loses To'oTo'o, he goes to Alabama, now Alabama's going to, benefit off of that. It's just typical Nick Saban stuff. But yeah, they're definitely the team to beat in college football.
All right. Do we have a quarterback controversy there in Gainesville? Do you think we have one with Emory Jones?
Man, listen, okay, I do and I don't. Like, I would say that Emory Jones should still be the starting quarterback. Some of the things that we saw from Anthony Richardson, he is obviously so talented. He's got this raw skill set that is unbelievable and cannot be denied. But he's not ready yet, right? He's not going to process the game the way that Emory already can. And so I think the pressure's on. I think actually it's weird because Dan Mullen kind of created this controversy in a way, and he's certainly played two quarterbacks, at once and in a lot of ways before in his career. So it's nothing that he's a stranger to, but I expect him to continue to start Emory Jones. I do think it's going to be interesting week 3 against Bama. The game's in Gainesville. Are they going to say, all right, let's roll out a freshman against an Alabama defense?
Right.
Like, I don't know. I mean, and he's got a little bit, he's not a true freshman, but still that's a tough one. And you see the potential there, but you just also worry a little bit about how they're going to make it happen. I think the other thing that's key is, as much as we talked about Kyle Pitts for Florida's offense last year, obviously he's unbelievably talented. Kadarius Toney did so much on the outside in their offense, and they don't have that weapon right now. So that makes a big difference in how they would try to scheme things up. Someone's going to have to step up and be at least somewhere close to a Kadarius Toney type.
So I don't know if this was wishful thinking on my side, but I thought Texas was going to struggle these first 2 games of the season. They didn't really struggle last week against Louisiana Lafayette, but at Arkansas, who struggled a little bit with Rice, but this is a game they're getting up for. How do you see it playing out?
Yeah, listen, last time I looked, Texas was like a touchdown favorite in this one. So I need to see if the lines moved at all. But I think it's going to be even closer than that. The interesting thing about what, is happening here is that if you think about, and I'm in Fayetteville, if you think about how these fans react to this, I mean, this is it for them. It's Arkansas football. It's Arkansas sports. They've sold out the stadium. They are going to do everything they can to win this game. This is their season right here. And so I think when you look at it from that perspective, the pressure is probably more on Texas, because Texas is they're joining the SEC and they've got a big spotlight on them. I think Arkansas kind of relishes in that moment. This Sam Pittman-led team is very much cut from the same cloth of him, where they're super scrappy and they're blue collar and they make things happen. Their defense is really good. Their offense did not look good last week. I'm a little concerned about Treylon Burks, their great receiver. He's dealt with some injury, doesn't seem to be in the shape that they'd like for him to be in, but yet he's still such a mismatch and such a threat, potentially, if healthy, the best receiver in the SEC this year. At least that's how we kind of expected him to be. So maybe he breaks out in a big way in this game. I don't know. I'm still I would still lean maybe that Texas is going to eke it out, but I think Arkansas has a big chance here. And I would not be shocked on SEC Nation tomorrow morning if people pick Arkansas. I'm not saying everyone's going to, but even though, they're not favored in this game, we think it could be closer than it may appear to some people.
Laura, last thing for you. I saw you tweeting about the Cowboys game last night against the Bucs and Dak Prescott's performance. I know they didn't get the victory, but he sure looked good, didn't he?
He looked unbelievable. To think about what he's been through and how it's been, 333 days or something since we've seen him on the field, for him to go out there and do what he did was just remarkable. And I think every single time, so much of the conversation around Dak, especially leading into when he finally did get the big deal with the Cowboys, was, well, is he really elite? Is he really one of those quarterbacks that deserves that kind of money? And for him to know about those conversations, for him to then still sign the deal, for him to come back from injury and then come out against the reigning Super Bowl champions and look that good, that Bucs D line is no joke. They are absolutely unreal. He doesn't even have Zach Martin, one of the best offensive linemen in the game, playing, and yet is still able to do what he did. I'm really impressed. Their defense, we knew, was not going to be that great. It looked slightly better to me, But I think at this point, if you're not picking the Cowboys to win the NFC East, you might be wrong. They looked really good last night. A lot of people are talking about Washington maybe winning the NFC East, but I think the Cowboys proved a lot last night.
Hey, Laura, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the game, and obviously we'll be watching in the morning. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. See you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern on SEC Network.
We'll be watching. Thanks again. Take care. All right, Laura Rutledge on the BCSI hotline. We appreciate her joining the show. Really good stuff. I also appreciate my friends, and I appreciate your stories, guys, and that's why I want you to give Chance McClain and Heritage Films a call at 713-893-8341. They make documentary films about you, about your family, about your grandfather, about anybody that is important, and we're all important, guys. We all got a great story, but if your dad has stories that you want your kids and their kids and their kids and their kids all to know about, well, this is the guy to do it. He'll do a A&E style documentary. Like, I'm talking like lighting, I'm talking a film crew. They come out there and they make it amazing. It's about an 8 to 10 week process, and Chance is going to do the whole thing. He's a down-to-earth guy. His daughter Gunn goes to A&M for her film career, and she's been with the company since day one, which means they're an Aggie company, guys. That's what they do, and they love our story, and Chance will tell that story. He can do a musical, he can do a radio station, he can do a movie, and now he does documentaries. He does it all, and he's advertising with us because he knows that we love our story. That's what Aggies do. We've got a rich history, and he wants to tell that story. Check it out at yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341.
This is The Zone, Aggieland's all-sports station.
Does your bank know your first name? At Normandy State Bank, they do. Normandy State Bank is locally owned, controlled, and operated. This local personal touch means banking decisions are made on site the same day you request it. Normandy State makes banking easy. They're open Saturdays, offer state-of-the-art online banking, bill paying, fund transfers, check and statement images. Normandy State, where customer service is their priority. Normandy State Bank, rock solid. Member FDIC.
Everyone has a story to tell, and we want to keep telling your story, the stories that you really care about. Visit KRHDnews.com to submit your story, explaining why you think someone has a great story to tell. From things to celebrate to things that inspire change, everyone has a story to tell, and we want to tell yours. Our news team is anxiously waiting to hear your stories and continue connecting with the Brazos Valley. Visit KRHDnews.com to tell us your stories to be featured on air and online.
The flagship station for Aggie athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Lance Lester at the Lester Group, Zwerneman Flooring, and The Sleep Station. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
What if one day you went to your secret hiding place? You know, that spot that only you know about? And instead of what you came for, you found something a little different. What if instead of your private stash, you found a simple phone number, 1-800-662-HELP? What would you do? Would you stop and give it some thought? Would you make the call? The truth is, all drug use comes with risk. Before those risks become real, before drugs turn your life upside down, before drugs take their toll on you and your family, know that there is help. You can quit. If you or someone you love is struggling with drug use or prescription drug misuse, call 1-800-662-HELP for 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, or go to samhsa.gov/thereishelp.
Listening to The Zone on your smart speaker is easy. If Louie can do it, anyone can do it. 2 simple steps, and you can hear Chip Howard Sports Talk, TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, or Aggie football, basketball, or baseball on your smart speaker. Step 1, and one time only needed, say Enable Zone 1150 skill. Then anytime you want to hear your favorite host or teams, all you have to do is say, play Zone 1150. Make sure to set it up and say, Enable Zone 1150 skill. And then listen in anytime just by saying, play Zone 1150.